Hello and welcome to the Cameron and Tia Show. If we haven't met before, I'm Tia and I'm one half of Cameron and Tia, which is a husband and wife duo. We are photographers and educators based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today I am coming at you with the how behind identifying your editing style. If you're a photographer, you already know the why. You need to have a consistent brand and you want to be outputting a consistent editing style so that when clients hire you, they know exactly what end product they're going to get. But today, we're breaking down the how. How do you find it? How do you identify your style and how do you keep it? Let's jump right into the video.
Hi, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Tia.
We're so excited that you're here.
Let's jump right into the video. Okay, in order to identify your editing style, the first thing I'm going to have you do is draw inspiration. Now, a lot of people will tell you to stay in your own lane. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you that later on. But I think the first step is to look out in the world, see what already exists, see what you're vibing with, see what you're jamming with, and figure out what's a good fit for you. One thing that I want to touch on is today we're talking about editing style. So that's separate from shooting or posing style. Your shooting style could be artistic, it could be very high-end fashion-y, it could be very prompt-based, very posing-based. Let's push that out of the picture for today, and we're just talking about editing style. So first, I'm going to break down 4 big, huge buckets of categories. This is not a comprehensive list of editing categories. These are just how I like to group them in my mind. Does everyone fit in these categories? Heck no. And it's not comprehensive again. And then in the description box, I'm going to link some of my favorite photographers in each of these styles so that you can really explore them and see what their editing style generally looks like by scrolling through the good old Insta feed. So the first is Dark and Moody. Dark and Moody typically has a lot of contrast to it, or exposure might be down a few stops from what's true to life. Often you're going to see this with a very artistic shooting style. People who might use a tilt shift lens often, people who like to shoot really wide, really big epic landscapes. A lot of these will fall in Dark and Moody. So check out all of these photos and then again, pop in the description box, head to these peeps' Instagram so you can see a whole ton of Dark and Moody vibes. The next is Warm and Earthy. Warm and Earthy, often the most categorizing thing to me is it obviously is very warm. It's very far yellow, but as well, skin is definitely very warm. It's often desaturated greens. That's a very telltale sign to warm and earthy. This is a lot of our like West Coast photographers that do a lot of big landscapes, a lot of like exploration, destination brides who are wild and free and barefoot. A lot of them will shoot in this warm and earthy style or edit in this warm and earthy style. So check out all of these. The next is light and airy, or sometimes this is film inspired or film photographers. So this will be pretty true to color often, but sometimes it'll just have like a stop up or a couple stops up of exposure from what's true to life. And it's characterized by a lot of like soft pastel-y vibes. Skin tones are always very true to color, whereas like in warm and earthy, we're probably a lot more warmed up. Maybe we have like some orange luminance going on. So in this film inspired light and airy, this is a lot of our photographers obviously that shoot film, a lot of our photographers that film match as well, so maybe they're shooting some digital and shooting some film and then they're matching their digital to their film, and then as well it's often categorized by kind of some fine art photographers, those that have brides that are traveling to Paris or Charleston, or who live in those places, but just that kind of vibe. So check those out. And then the last one is more bright or true to color, just colorful. So there's maybe some saturation is bumped up a little bit. Generally, our editing style falls in this bright and colorful. Again, just like the light and airy, skin tones are going to be pretty true to color, pretty natural, versus kind of pulling one way or another. And so bright and colorful, yeah, heck yes. This probably has like a little punch to it, a little added like zing of like, whoa, ooh, this comes alive when you see that preset applied or when you see this photographer editing in that style. So those are all the different editing styles. Again, head to the description box. You can see so much more. But what I would do first as I'm trying to figure out what I love is I would go through Instagram. I would follow tons and tons of photographers. Right now, again, later I'm going to tell you to stay in your own lane. But right now I go through my feed. Anything that I'm vibing with, that me personally, I'm saying, oh my gosh, I freaking love that. That is gorgeous. Put into a saved folder. If you didn't know, on Instagram, you can add things to a saved folder, and I'll show you in a little clip, that then allows you to just save. It'll pop right in there, and then you can go back to see like edits that I love or editing styles I love. That will really give you a great grasp when you pop in that folder to see a whole bunch of photos together and say, oh wow, I'm really leaning this way with my greens. I'm really leaning this way with my warmth. I really think I'm going to fall, myself is going to fall into a warm and earthy, more toned editor. So that's an awesome way to start getting a bearing on what you really love. And of course, to have a little bit of inspiration of people who are freaking killing it in that style. The next is I would create another saved folder. That saved folder, you're going to pop your own photos in. So your own Instagram feed. Obviously, there are going to be images in your feed where you're like, I die for this edit. This edit is exactly what I want to be, how I want to look in the world. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that. Pop that in that folder. Then there's going to be some things in your feed that maybe you love the framing of the image, maybe you love the composition, maybe you love just like it's a beautiful storytelling moment. The edit feels, it's not quite on brand, it's not exactly where I want to be. Maybe it's 80% of the way. Don't put that in the folder. Only put those hundreds in the folder. 100%, I am game for this, I love it. All of those, again, once they're in a folder in Instagram, you're able to just sort through those and you're gonna get a really good grasp on, wow, actually I thought that I liked warmth here. Oh no, I actually like it here a little bit when I look at this big picture. So creating these folders on Instagram, or of course you could do this like on a desktop folder, anything, really allows you to see the big picture, allows you to step back and say, whoa, this is my overall mood, this is what I'm really loving. The last part of this, of kind of doing the research, seeing what's out there, is to consider what your ideal client is drawn to and why. This is probably the most important thing. I personally could love a dark and moody style, and I am all about that. I see a dark and moody image on my feed, and this is actually true, and I'm like, oh, wow, that gets me, that pulls my emotional heartstrings, holy cow. But my bride, the Cameron and Tia ideal couple, ideal bride, is not drawn to that. And then on top of that, I want to evaluate the why behind that. Our bride is drawn to a more timeless editing style, something that might not be trendy and might not come and go. She's really drawn to something that she knows because she values family time, she values having printed photos in an album, that down the road 20 years from now, she wants to look at her images and not have that moment of like, man, it looks like kind of maybe a filter is applied over these or that kind of thing. Again, I am so into every editing style, but our bride is super into that, and so you want to evaluate that why behind that so that you're making a good business choice. There's one thing between you loving a style and what your client and your future customer loves. And obviously, you need to cater towards this. Maybe it kind of falls on the spectrum a little ways, but you need to really keep in mind what that ideal client wants. Okay, next up, we've done the market research, we are ready to go. We know what's out there, we know what we're gravitating to, we know the why behind why our client loves a certain style. Now let's stay in our own lane. Here's what's up. After you've got some base knowledge, put on some blinders and just go down your lane. Start playing with photos. Start tweaking different lighting situations. Start tweaking different types of sessions. Start tweaking different sessions that have different outfit colors, different backdrops so that you can really find what you're loving. Keep playing with that. It's a never-ending process. That's a reality. So continue tweaking, find consistency, tweak that preset over and over and over so that you're getting to a place that it becomes more of a one-click-ish preset. Of course, when we say one-click preset, we're still making adjustments to exposure. We're still making adjustments to other little tweaks, and it's not necessarily a one-click, but it's closer and closer to a one-click, and consistently work on that. Don't give up on that. Don't say, oh, I'm done. There is an element of good is better than perfect, and start playing with that good preset, but then keep going and keep going. You're gonna find what you love, you're gonna find tricks, you're gonna get to a session that's a totally different lighting situation and actually has a ton of green reflecting up on your couples, and then you need to play with the preset more. And that is wonderful. One thing that I would caution against is being in this struggle phase of like, oh, I'm testing this, this is awesome. And then going back to your edits you love of other people's and looking at that and being pulled in another direction and then be like, hold up, I gotta explore that. Caution against that. I say don't do that. Going back to the edits that you love, that you've been doing, I think is super valuable. You're able to really work for that consistency. But I think if you get in this mindset of, oh, let me just look at this really quick, and then you're like, now I'm being pulled in all these different directions. So that's the putting the blinders on and staying in your own lane. I also think that you need to acknowledge just a mindset shift of this is always a journey. I think every single photographer has multiple variables of all of their presets. They are constantly tweaking. They might get in a deep dive for 2 weeks where they're re-editing old sessions to explore how a new tiny little look looks. And I think that's important. Just shift your mindset to know this is a journey. I'm all aboard for it. I am ready to go. Yay! So that is all I have for y'all. This is a great starting place to start figuring out how to have a consistent editing style, how to find something that you love, 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 love. If you're loving this free content, we so enjoy bringing it every single Thursday, but be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all the things so that we can continue gifting you this free content on a weekly basis. Heck yes. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments down below. Otherwise, we hope you have a wonderful week, and until next time, bye!